I'm nervous. Can you tell I'm nervous? Oh. Hi, I'm Lottie and welcome to my new YouTube channel. First of all, YouTube, you can see fine well that these are paintings behind me. I know what you're like. This might be my first video on this channel, but this is not my first rodeo, and I know what tricks you'll try and pull. If you don't know who I am, then you obviously haven't come from Instagram or Facebook. Hi, I'm Lottie, and I used to have a channel with my two sisters, and we were called the Three Little Huns. And I've wanted to have my own channel for quite a while, and I thought, what better time to start than the new year, because that way have to continue. And I thought that a really good time to do it would be the new year, which reminds me, happy new year. How was your 2021? I hope that it was better than mine. How was your Christmas? I actually had a lovely Christmas. I hope that you all had a lovely Christmas too. So this video will be 20 things I learned in 2021 and 20 things I would like to do in 2022. Ew. It would make a lot of sense to do 20 things I learned in 2021 first, so here we go. First of all, I learned that my expectations for 2021 were highly unachievable, for obvious reasons, but that's okay. Number two, I learned how important sleep was. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I've always been a night owl. Like, I would always stay up, like, really late and get next to no sleep. But at the end of 2020 and at the very start of 2021, I started a night shift job that I did for just over half of the year, and I was working 6 days a week, ridiculous hours. And eventually I was just like, Charlotte, get your shit together, get some sleep. It worked. I got more sleep. The job wasn't any better though. Another thing that I learned is that mental health always comes first. It took us a while to realise that, but I got there in the end. So just a little bit of context, like I've just said, I worked a night shift job for just over half of 2021. It was a really toxic, really unprofessional workplace. It was a really toxic and unprofessional workplace, and it just drove me into the ground. It didn't even drive us, it pounded us like that into the ground. Eventually I realised that I couldn't do it anymore because mental health is so much more important. I don't know why I'm saying this as if I'm being sarcastic. I'm literally not. Mental health comes first. Because of how bad and how toxic this workplace was, I learned very, very quickly how not to care at all about my job or the work that I was doing. I hope my manager isn't watching this, because that's not the person that I am now. That was a temporary Lottie, do you know what I mean? However, I also learned how to absolutely love my job and actually want to go to work when I wake up in the morning. It's really weird. In 2021, I temporarily moved out with my sister and brother-in-law. That was an experience. But because of that experience, I learned a lot of things. First of all, what to look for when you're looking for a house or a flat. And I'm not talking about the simple things like, oh, it's got a shower, but does it have a bath? I'm talking about adequate kitchen space. Is there more than one bench? Is there a tap for the cooker to go into? Are the skirting boards touching the floor, or are they hovering halfway up the wall? Just stuff like that, okay? I also learned how to financially manage moving out and not living with my mum. I would just like you to know that I never say mum, and I have no idea why I said that. I'm really not good with money, so I had to crack down and figure out what I was putting aside every month for bills, for shopping, and it was actually much harder than I thought it was. I would say the biggest thing that experience taught me though was what I want, or what I'm going to be looking for when I buy my forever home. Hopefully that one isn't infested with blue bottle flies. In 2021, I also learned that communication is so important. I learned to stop being a huffy little brat, because talking is how things get resolved.
Really, yes.
Another thing is learning/knowing my worth when it comes to friendships. I actually had one really manipulative and obsessive. What's the word I'm looking for? Possessive. Manipulative and obsessive and possessive friend that taught me what red flags to look out for in the future, and also just kind of taught us what behaviours I expect as a friend, do you know what I mean? And what behaviours I will no longer stand for. I don't want to like give context on every single one, otherwise this video is going to be like an hour long and nobody wants to watch that. My next one is learning to accept when things end and how to move on. Another one is that some goodbyes are for growth, whether that be for myself or yourself or for the other person in that situation. I learned not to waste my energy and effort on people who aren't going to give me the same back. That's an important one, because if you are sitting there and you're thinking, hold on, I give this person like this much effort and they give me none, don't give any. I'm telling you right now, don't give any. A big thing I learned is to trust the timing. I'll just give one quick example, and it's learning to drive. So for me, I didn't learn to drive when I was 17. I waited for no specific reason, I just think I didn't have any money. I waited until I was 18 and I started halfway through 2020, and obviously there was a pandemic as well, so there was like a backlog of driving tests. I'm pretty sure it was like 72,000. I'm pretty sure it was actually way higher than that. I just don't want to exaggerate in case it's wrong. So I'd booked my driving test 3 times before I actually managed to take it and pass it, and I didn't get a car straight away either, which is like literally fine, but I was just ready to drive because I'd been learning for such a long time. And when I did find a car, it was literally the perfect one for me, and I love it so much. I don't know what number we're on to, but another thing is some things are best kept private. I learned that I love crystals, I just don't know how to use them. Another thing is that we have some really good people in the world, and actually sometimes the world can be a really good place. Off the top of my head, an example is the Free Britney movement. Just how quickly humanity as a whole managed to free Britney Spears. That whole thing still blows my mind. My brain's going like this at the minute. But also that the world is actually a much worse place than I thought it was. And unless you've been living under a rock for the past 2 years, I don't think I need to explain why. I learned that I'm not going to be TikTok famous, but I'm also not going to give up. The last thing on my list of things that I learned in 2021 is that things do get better, and I know that sounds really corny and probably annoying to hear for some people, but 2021 was the worst year of my life so far, and it took 11 months, but it eventually got slightly better. I say slightly better, but if I look at myself now and then look at myself like 8 months ago, 2 very different people, 2 very different scenarios, 2 very different attitudes, and in short, things got better. So now I'm going to move on to 20 things that I want to do in 2022. Number 1 is drink more water. So this is a big thing because I always get headaches and I'm always dehydrated because I don't drink a lot of water. If I drink anything at all, it's full fat Coke. So I actually got a brand new water bottle from Typo. It's like, I know when people do this you can't really tell, but like it is actually really big. Like I said, it's from Typo. I think it was like 30 or 40% off, but it was still hella expensive. Number 2 is make more lists, and I've written make more lists in capital letters because I bloody love writing lists. They're so helpful. You can write a list for anything. Shopping lists, to-do lists. If I say lists one more time, I don't know, like nothing will really happen, to be honest with it, but I'm gonna get really annoyed. But also, my thing about writing lists is they have to be on paper. I don't know what it is about having a pen and paper. They have to go together, and I have to write something all the time. Doesn't matter if I'm writing a list or not. If I say a pen and a paper and I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to write something. Another thing I want to do in 2022 is to keep up with my gratitude journal. So I got a gratitude journal for Christmas. I've just tried to look for it and it's literally nowhere to be found. So I'm a little bit worried because I was going to start that tomorrow, but whatever. Starting to say yes is something that I want to do in 2022. And by this I just mean in regards to like things that I wouldn't usually do, just say yes to, like put myself out there a little bit more. I actually said yes to something that I would literally never do in 100 million years, that I'm doing on the 19th of January, and I might vlog it. I might vlog it. But also to start saying no. And what I mean by that is to stop letting people take advantage of me or you, and just to like know my limits and like, you know, like not push myself too much, because I did a lot of that this year. It didn't end up very well. Read and finish my books is on my list of things to do in 2022. That is because in 2021 I read 1 book and it took us 4 days. So imagine how many books I could have read if I just read more books. This is the one that I'm reading right now. It's called The Cottage by Lisa Stone, and it is actually really good. It's just that, like, I don't have time, but I want to make time. I want to make time to read. I also want to surround myself with people who've got positive energy and people who will be a good influence on me. Reason being, just because that's nice. And this year, I surrounded myself with some people that just are really, really negative and drained a lot of my energy. So I want less of that in 2022. A big thing is save money and learn how to do it properly. Anyone who knows me knows I always have literally $0 all the time. Not zero, but probably like 6. Do you know what I mean? I don't even know where my money goes. And I just want to learn how to save it properly because I need to start saving towards bigger things. In 2022, I want to constantly keep my surroundings tidy, and I know that sometimes that's not possible, like sometimes your room gets messy and the house gets messy, whatever. But I found that having clean and tidy surroundings helps us function physically and mentally on a daily basis. I've found that I also procrastinate a lot less when my surroundings are tidy, and my procrastination lately has gotten really bad. Practice manifestation. I want to do that in 2022. I also want to educate myself more on crystals, like which ones do what and how to use them, because right now I'm just kind of like abundance. I want to exercise more, and don't get us wrong, I'm not joining the gym. Like, I'm not doing that. In my whole life, I've joined the gym like 5 times. What I mean is just go for more walks and like run more maybe, because I did enjoy running at the start of this year, but I just stopped doing it. I want to commit to my skincare routine again, and I want to do that all year long. So I've actually got really dry skin. Like, I'm fortunate to not have like a lot of spots a lot of the time, but I've got really dry skin, and a lot of the time you can see it and it's disgusting. And when I was keeping up with my skincare, like, I had really good skin, and that's why I want to do it again. Make plans and stick to them is on my list of things to do in 2022, and I understand that sometimes you can't always stick to a plan, but personally that means for me is to make a plan, and then when it actually comes to doing the plan, don't panic and be like, oh, sorry, I can't, I'm doing something. Do you know what I mean? Because that's never true. I'm never ever doing anything. So if I've ever told you that I'm busy, I lied. Commit to YouTube is another thing that I want to do in the new year, because I did start a channel with my 2 sisters, and we did keep it going for quite a while, but I just got really busy and I never had any time for it, and I dead freaked out there. I thought there was a huge orb going across my screen. It was just the dust flying across my face. So yeah, I want to commit to YouTube this time. I also want to actively work towards my goals for 2022, and by that I mean like not just sitting around and waiting for things to happen. Like, I'm gonna make things happen. I'm gonna try and make things happen. Amsterdam is definitely on the list of things to do in 2022. I have been once before with Dan, and we were supposed to go in March 2020. He'd bought me a trip to Amsterdam for my birthday, and COVID came along and ruined everything, so I still haven't been. I really want to make and stick to a healthy, doesn't even have to be healthy, just a food plan. I have really bad eating habits. I either don't eat like literally at all, or I'll eat food that's really unhealthy for us, or I'll binge eat like chocolate, which really isn't good for us. Another thing I want to do is donate more to charity shops. This is because recently I had a clear out of loads of things. I did it while I was moving back to my mum's actually. And it's because I've got a lot of stuff. I've got a lot of stuff, right? A lot of it's just stuff that I keep because I don't want to part with. I have no use for it. I can't think of any use for it, and I'll still just keep it because I'm like, oh no, I don't want to leave it. Do you know what I mean? So I want to donate more to charity shops. I donated loads and loads when I moved back to my mum's, and it made us feel good as well. So like Joey said, no deed is a selfless good deed. The last thing that I want to do in 2022 is do everything in my personal power to maintain a positive energy and a positive attitude. I went through a lot of character development multiple times during 2021 for different reasons and under different circumstances. I was just literally like this. all the way through 2021, and I want to maintain like, but obviously I want it to be like up here because it's positive energy, so I want to be like, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Feminine urge to say, do you know what I mean? Even though the person obviously knows what I mean. That is the end of 20 things I learned in 2021 and 20 things I want to do in 2022. I really hope you enjoyed it, or like learned something, or like learned something about me. I hope you got something out of this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you feel like you want to see more from us. Honestly, I don't have a proper uploading schedule in place. I'll try to stick to like a consecutive schedule, if that makes sense. I don't even know what words I'm saying right now. We've been filming for a really long time. I'm gonna say right now that I will try to upload fortnightly. So if you do have any video ideas, please put them in the comment section down below. What I really want to do is I want to do like a paranormal investigating video, but I'm so shit scared. I can't even tell you. I'm so scared, but I really want to do it. If you would like to see it, let us know. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, you can find me here and here. Once again, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, I'm sorry, I don't know what to say. Anyway, happy new year, and I will see you in the next one.